Hey everyone. We are starting at 3:30, but I'm going to give it a couple extra minutes just in case other people decide to join. If not, totally fine. I'm just going to do a quick overview then. And again, like I mentioned, this is all going to be recorded. So if you want to watch this at a later time, absolutely feel free to do that. I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen so that as we do this, we can go ahead and get started. So give me 1 second. All right. So like I said, I'm going to give this another couple minutes, probably 1 or 2. And if no one else joins, that's okay. We'll just go ahead and continue. So really what this is going to cover is, again, allowing you to understand how it works to either move from another software program that you're either utilizing for bankruptcy, or if you're brand new to bankruptcy, that's totally fine. I believe that our software is intuitive enough to understand, have attorneys understand how to begin cases and work through it. But I'm going to go ahead and just show you, what tools we have in place that if you are looking to move or, again, start with us brand new, how everything works from the start. The first thing I'll mention, and again, this is more geared towards those who are transferring from another bankruptcy software over to NextChapter, is we do have shell imports. So if you're utilizing another software and you would like to move over those cases into NextChapter, so that way you have the ability to either continue to work on those cases or continue to receive notices assigned to them, we can do that. So it is a shell import. So anything in the contact information will be brought over. Things that are listed in like the statement of financial affairs and documents, you will need to manually move those over. But we do offer a service with our work from home plan or /pro plus plan, depending on when we're done running that that deal. It's either if you purchase either the work from home or the work from home plan, it is including that concierge service. So it's up to 100 cases moved over for you. If you decide to do on a per case plan or with the pro plan, it is $50 for up to 100 cases. And it's a shell import. So essentially what we require is that you ask your current provider for either a CSV or Excel document with those cases that you want imported into NextChapter. Like I said, it's a shell import, so you're getting the bankruptcy matter, things like the contact information, the names, all that kind of good stuff. We can import that. And then what's nice is that we will continue to monitor for those NextChapter notices. So, so down here under the NextChapter notices section is where all those will be related. So if there's a case number already associated that you've linked in here, we will assign that if they come through. But don't feel like if you have an open Chapter 13 that you have with another program, you can't continue to have that within NextChapter. If you do the shell import, we will continue to monitor those so that you have those already saved. Similarly with that, if there is a date and time assigned for like a confirmation hearing, a 341 hearing, we will also pull that and create a calendar event for you right here. This also can be synced to your work calendar as well, which is really nice so that you have that available to you. So again, we want to try to make this as seamless as possible because we do have a lot of attorneys that are transferring over from another software company. Sorry about that. Let me just click on that. Excuse me. All right, let's go back. Moving over from another software into NextChapter. So don't feel like you're the only one. I would say, close to probably about 90% of our current clients are former users of another software and are moving over to NextChapter. They've been successful. We've set up a lot of tools and services available to you guys that you can be successful for that. Obviously, the NextChapter notice is one of them. The other thing I'm going to mention is there is a learning curve, and we're not ignoring that fact that there is a learning curve to coming over to a new software. So we do have our help center. So if you click on the help button, there's a help center. What this opens up into is articles that we've developed specific to NextChapter. How I can search this is by keywords. So let's say, I have a question on how do I add exemptions to my case. Now I have all these articles available to me that we've published, and I can say, okay, I need to figure out how do exemptions work here. I click on my article. We've got screenshots, so I know exactly, okay, I go into add personal property. There's my exemption. I can scroll down. Here's like a little mini video on how to add either a state or federal exemption. How do I search for that exemption as well? And these are all very related to the different topics and specific to NextChapter so that you feel comfortable utilizing our tools. We also have webinars just like this one. We record all of our webinars, and we usually do about 2 to 4 a month. They're all recorded. They're free to utilize whether you're a per case annual user or you're just brand new to NextChapter altogether. You can always click this webinar page, and it'll take you to past recorded webinars that you can access, and then any upcoming webinars that you can register for. We also have training videos, which are single topic videos that we've published specific to NextChapter that you can utilize through our YouTube page. Again, there are things like entering income, next message client texting, adding users. They're very singular and very easy to understand. And then you can, view them and go through them as you'd like. We also have our customer success team as well, which you can either message them directly from the app in NextChapter, or you can call them. Obviously, your sales associate is available to ask questions, but if it's something very granular, very specific, you can always access this team as well, and they can help do a screen share with you so they understand exactly where you're at. They can walk through the process with you and help you get to the point that you need to, and that you understand exactly step by step how we're getting to that point. Okay. Couple other things. One is our virtual paralegal service. So whether you are a longtime bankruptcy attorney or brand new to bankruptcy, we do have our virtual paralegal services, both specific to bankruptcy and now with our summer 20 release for any practice area, which is super cool and a great utilization of our services. So from the case, if you were going to utilize as a bankruptcy practice, I would start my new case, enter the information relevant, things like, you can see here, I'll click on this. The basic things we're asking for is the practice area. So say it's a bankruptcy case. Again, I'm going to select whether it's personal or business, put in the name, the district, and the chapter, and that creates my new case. Directly from my case, though, I can hire a paralegal. So under this, actually, let's go to another one because that has paralegal notes. Underneath that specific case, what I can do is I can hire a paralegal, and they would work just like as if they were an in-house paralegal. They're going to conduct the client interview. They're going to collect documents. They'll answer any questions the client has regarding the process of giving information over. So you can see here all of the information that the paralegal does for you. And this is available whenever you start a new case. And again, it's case by case. So if you have a case that you want them to work on, but the next one you want to work on yourself, there's no obligation to hire them for all your cases. You pick and choose which one you want them to have access to and work on. Again, they're going to prepare all the petitions, the schedules, and then if it is a specific Chapter 13, they can do Chapter 13 district plans. If there's a local form that needs to be filed with the petition, they can do that as well. And essentially, they do everything from start to finish. Once they've completed that, they'll reach out to you as the attorney to review it to make sure it all looks good. If you say good is okay, you can either file it yourself or you can let them know it all looks good. I would like you to file this for me, and they will file it underneath your firm account with the courts. It's a flat rate, which is really nice. So For bankruptcy, depending on the chapter, you can see here, whatever chapter you list on this case is the price that we bring up. $300 for a Chapter 13 without a plan. Chapter 7s are also $300. Chapter 13 with the plan is $600. They can do emergency filings. And they can also do post-petition filings as well. So if there's updates that you need to be done with the schedules, they can do that as well. You would just need to let them know what it is that you want them to do, and then they'll give you an estimate of cost for that. The other thing to note with the paralegal service is that any communication they have is going to be saved within the comment section of that case. So if there's emails, there's phone calls, it's all going to be saved here so that you have access to it directly. Any client documents they obtain, they will save them here. So you're not out of the loop. You have access to all of that, and you can do your own work on this as well. So just be aware that, when you hire one of our paralegals, it is not completely out of your hands. You have complete transparency with our paralegals and the information that they gather. So with the Summer 20 release, as I mentioned, we now offer paralegal services outside of just bankruptcy. So what you'd want to do is under your account settings, there is a Paralegal as a Service button. What this does is allows you to buy up to a minimum of 5 hours at $50 per hour time that you would want allocated to cases outside of bankruptcy. So once you purchase those, you'd hit purchase. And then again, when you add a new case, you would select the practice area. Again, don't feel like you have to be, contained to the practice areas we've selected here. If you select other, what we just need to know is what the practice area is. Again, name or business. And then we're just going to ask for details from there. So let's go into an actual case that is outside of bankruptcy so you can see what that looks like. Let's see. Let me go in here. All right. So this is civil litigation. When I come into my case dashboard for this case, I can assign a virtual paralegal. What that does is then it initiates on our side. What we're going to ask is that, give us some information about this case. We see that this is the practice area. What we want is how many hours do you estimate this will take? Again, this is strictly an estimate. We're not going to hold you to this. We're not going to say, well, you said it was 4 hours. It actually took 3 hours. So we're going to charge you for the full 4, or vice versa. If it takes more than that and it ends up, you only have, 5 hours associated to your account. If we get a notification that there's less than an hour left on what you've billed or what you've bought, then we'll just tell you, hey, you need to buy more. We're also in the front end going to say you select that this is going to take 5 hours, and the case instructions that you're putting in here, we read through it and we say, you know what, based on the amount of work that you're looking for, it's really going to take way more than 5 hours. It's probably closer to 7 or 8. We'll let you know up front, so that way we can say, if you would like us to continue to assign a paralegal to this, just be aware that the amount of work you're asking for is going to take more than that 5 hours. You'll need to purchase more. The way it's billed is on 1/10 of the hour. So every 10 minutes is how it's billed. So if they say it takes, of the 4 hours you allocated to this, it took them, 3 hours and 9 minutes. We're just going to round up to that 10-minute mark. And again, they'll just proceed to do any of the work that you ask them to do. Any comments that they add to this, so things like, this is the email I received, this is the call I had, any information like that they put in here is automatically notified to you by email so that you can keep up to track on what they're doing. And if you work on this case in NextChapter, it's not going to be tallied with the timer. So we can actually have this monitored by the person who's working on this case. So if you are, Atticus Finch as the attorney and you're logged in under your account and you're doing work on this, it's not going to deduct from the virtual paralegal time available. It's going to just associate with you that was the time you worked on it. But again, if I'm Mandy, the paralegal, I'm logged in under that account and I do work, for 45 minutes, I'm also going to put notes on that, but it's also going to deduct from that virtual paralegal time, and it's in real time. So when they open it, they do their work, And at the time that they log out, that's the amount of time that gets deducted from the virtual paralegal time available. Okay, let's go to account settings real quick. So again, just a couple other things that are probably familiar to you, but maybe of note. Transferring over to NextChapter, again, we do have a couple of case management tools available that we integrate with. Clio is one, Infusionsoft is the other. So if you do utilize one of those two, we do have integrations with both. Let us know if you want further details. I'll just kind of click through this, and I'm not going to go into super detail, but with NextChapter and Clio, it is a bilateral sync. So information entered into Clio can be then transferred over to NextChapter and vice versa. It includes bankruptcy matter, calendars, and tasks. Infusionsoft's a little bit more basic. It's just if you have a lead in Infusionsoft listed with one of these tags, that's what we note to pull over into NextChapter to generate a new case, and then you would proceed to work from there. Again, if you are a current bankruptcy filer, or again, even new to bankruptcy, the biggest things I think you'll notice between us and any other software is one, flexibility. We are 100% cloud-based, so for that reason, you can access us from anywhere, whether it's a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, or a phone. We do have apps for both iPhone and Android. So I think that's a big differential between us and other softwares out there, is that we do have abilities to be cloud-based and have the applications available to you, so that, you know, if you're not in the office, or you're not even, you know, at your home, if you're out on the road, whatever the case may be, you can access your client information. We now have batch downloads for notices as well, which is another thing that was asked by a lot of attorneys, was doing batch downloads for notices as well. Document downloads as well is available to you. But I think that's a big thing. It's flexibility. So I think, you know, the current situation we're all in exacerbated for us a lot of how flexible and how accessible our day-to-day softwares or tools that we were using, how flexible are they if I'm not in the physical office. NextChapter has always been cloud-based. That's just the way we built it. So I think you'll find that gives a lot of ability and flexibility to you, not only yourself, but also anyone else that is accessing your software. So if you have paralegals or legal assistants that are looking to help you with data entry or document collection, they are available to have their own login, and then they can access this, you know, themselves as well. They're not asking for a login from you. They have that themselves. They can access it, and then it updates in real time, so that you have a physical view of what they're working on, what they've done, and updates on your end as well. So I don't see a lot of questions. Hopefully that covers a lot of it. So again, you know, hopefully you guys have had the opportunity to log in. If you would like a further walkthrough or demo of the software, I'm happy to connect you with your sales associate to do that for you. But hopefully that gives you at least an underlying understanding of the differences between us and your maybe current or other bankruptcy softwares, and the accessibility of moving over into NextChapter. It really is quite simple, and we're happy to support you in any way that we can to make sure that the transition is pretty seamless. All right. Well, if there's something else, I will stop sharing. And if you guys need anything else, I'm happy to help answer questions, but I'm going to end the recording. And again, this will be available to you to access at a later date if you want to rewatch it anytime. But I really appreciate your guys' time, and hopefully this was pretty informative. All right. Thanks so much.